Today, on the Terrible Warriors, our agents of the estate are closing in on Moriarty's trail. But what is he really planning? No intro here, let's just get right back to it. Derek the Bard and his Edmonton crew return, and they are your Terrible Warriors.
Welcome back, terrible listeners. You're in a new year, and it's a new chapter of our ongoing strange campaign from the Edmonton crew. I'm Derek the Bard from Chasing the Muse, and I am your GM for this evening, and I'm joined with...
Will Mitchell.
Wes Gunn of the 404s.
Shane Fitzgerald of Circuit 42.
Cameron Dunn of Viral Outbreak Gaming.
And we are back into the strange. And we had a bit of a cliffhanger last week. As Wes's Caster Cage, in his weird little robo-body, charged the Meroid, the bone marrow-eating living computer.
It just occurred to me that we've kind of got a Tremors moment going on here where I would probably be going, what the hell are you doing? I got a goddamn plan!
Thanks, Bert Gummer.
All we need now is for this thing to burrow into the wrong rec room.
It can burrow. It does have burrowing powers.
Good to know.
Good to know. I saw that movie recently. It's really good.
Yeah.
I was nice and let you guys see it from a distance.
It is my front runner for favorite TV censorship because some of the censorship on that, depending on the channel you watch, is just ridiculous.
But let's get back on track because Wes is having a big dramatic moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wes, this is all probably going to come down to you making a roll, but what is your plan?
I'm running towards it. I'm like, hey, no, I just need to access your library. I spent a point of intellect to enthrall it.
Yeah.
Okay, now are you going to spend for effort as well?
Yeah.
Okay, how much effort do you want to spend? 1 or 2 points?
2.
Okay, so you're going to mark off...
3 points in total.
No, 3, and then what's your intellect edge?
2.
Okay, so you're marking off 5 points of intellect total here.
Sure. Done.
Roll.
That's a 4.
Oh, God.
Wait. Advantage. When you spend 1 XP to re-roll a d20, add +3 to the roll.
I will let you... I will let you spend an XP.
Yeah, I will do that. I'm going to re-roll it, and I get to add +3 to this roll.
Because you're lucky, yes.
Well, that's a 10, so 13.
Plus whatever.
You succeed.
Okay, so it's a roll.
You needed to roll a 12, you get 10 plus 3. You, by sheer happenstance, you manage to catch it at just the right moment. You spin the lights off. You have its attention.
Okay. Ladle.
Look at your flashing little ladle images all over
I
it.
imagine I have a little thing on the top that and the little ladle goes doing back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
I will allow this.
Because it has no other function.
2 episodes ago.
The ladle is quickly becoming the most powerful artifact in your arsenal.
Yeah, it's not even on my sheet, really.
Oh, my God.
But anyways, now I am going to attempt to interface directly with it as technology.
Yeah.
Give me an intellect check.
That is a 15.
Do you want to spend... I will let you retroactively spend effort on it.
I'm going to spend effort.
Spend 1 effort, so mark down that 1 point of intellect.
Yeah.
You are able to plug into its weird biostructure.
Yeah.
The Ulsong doesn't fully properly connect in the Scar, but this thing has its own internal computer system, and you get just barrages of images and DNA codes, and its system is broken inside. You guys all just see Castor hits this thing and basically docks with it, and then it stops moving.
Right. I think he's got it under control. Let's find better positions for when he doesn't. And then,
Okay, I'm not going to make you guys roll for that.
Idea.
Maybe get your slot.
You climb up on some ruins and stuff.
I'm not interested in watching Caster Cage docking with something again.
Are you looking for specific information, or are you just trying to keep this thing occupied?
I am now that I'm in, I'm looking for specific information that pertains to what we're here for.
Give me a roll.
Nice.
That is stupid
This is
useful.
damn clever.
18.
Okie dokie.
Come on, Cam, get in on this.
That's all right.
We're all bros here.
Let me just see what... I just want to make sure that I'm accurately portraying what information it gets from this. Some Marroids who have obtained the marrow of intelligent Rook natives can access bits of their victims' knowledge. Yep. Okay.
Ate up some poor test subject.
Well, what you get is little fragments. They're not perfect memories. They're not perfect recordings. They're little fragments of memory that apparently are encoded on a genetic level.
Right.
And you see a building. You see it from kind of a distance, and there are a bunch of people moving around out front of it. And oh wait, I'm sorry. That would be the Marroid's memory. What you actually see is a first-person perspective as people are loading something off of like some kind of bioskiff. And they're just boxes, and they're talking with each other, and little snippets. Do you think we can get it working? Another snippet. You actually hear someone who has a very distinct British accent, but you don't see them. Tick-tock, gentlemen, we are on a tight schedule here. And he's actually speaking English, not Rookian. And then you see the moment the Marroid gets this guy, which is literally, he's taking a piss against a wall.
Oh, no.
And he turns around, and the Marroid's literally creeping up behind him as he's taking a piss, and he turns around, and it gets him.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's useful. That's really useful.
Yeah.
Can I shoo it away now?
Give me another roll.
Oh, that's 13.
No. Your best bet at this point is probably to see if your guys can get away and just get out of its line of sight.
Yeah. So, like, there's just kind of like a strained, like, get out of here, catch up, go.
Tell me twice.
Ladle.
Can't keep this up ever.
And then we cheese it.
Yep.
Duck behind some rubble.
Oh,
No, you need to run.
Run.
Everybody give me a roll. Except for Wes.
Who's currently ladling?
7.
To ladle is a verb now.
I think it's always been a verb, but we have a new definition of it.
Yeah.
That is a 9. Oh, wait, 6.
6. Cam?
Alright. 17.
Okay, so the party order is basically Trent running the fuck away in the front while you guys are trying to scramble down from your positions.
Yeah.
You're all able to get away from it, but Trent, you've got a big lead on these guys. They're just kind of running the fuck out. And you come to a ledge as they're still kind of scrabbling behind you. And you can see below, there's actually a hub of activity around this low, looks almost like a bombed out or broken factory. And you see outside of it is one battle chrysalis. Not one of the ones that you saw, but it's definitely a battle chrysalis of some sort, just kind of hunched outside, like basically like a guard mech.
Okay.
And you see it, and you duck down before it can see you.
Awesome.
Because you got a 17, which is pretty fucking good in this system.
Okay.
Okay,
so we come puffing up shortly after.
Yeah, so we see him duck down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You just stay low.
We're going to join him.
So it's your information to relay then, Cam.
Yeah. I see a battle chrysalis over there. If we can sneak up on it, maybe we can get the drop on it.
I wonder how we could do that. Premonition.
I was just going to shoot nano machines and screw with it.
It's like, I'm going to use psychic powers. I was just going to shoot science at it.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what it would shoot back.
I am shooting with science now!
Welcome to Lonely Joe. Now, your ticks fly to my nipples.
Yes, that literally is Cam's power.
Yeah, more or less.
Wes, you're still hooked up to the Maroid.
I was going to
Okay.
say Cam's power is the Isaac Clarke maneuver, just inexplicably shoot science at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to disengage from it and hide.
Give me a roll. What's your bonus for stealth? Or did you roll a 20?
I believe it's a 20 on that.
Yeah, you rolled a 20. Doesn't matter.
And actually, it also occurs to me that between this and the new Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer, that the Gunn maneuver is to baffle them with batshit.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you essentially, you get a major advantage, a major effect out of it. And so you are actually able to lead it away from their direction before you fly off back to them.
Yeah.
So you send it herring off in some other direction away from you, so it will not be a problem anymore.
Sure.
Awesome.
I was just going to say, I go, oh, and then activate my Romulan cloaking device. Go,
You don't have a Romulan cloaking
yeah, but
device.
I rolled so well, I temporarily had one.
You're insignificant in combat, but more to the point, you rolled a 20, so it is no longer a factor in this scenario.
It's basically out.
It is out of the scene.
If I had hands, I'd be doing this.
We'll get your hands. So, premonition regarding getting around that chrysalid?
Yes, give me a roll.
Yeah. And you know what? I want us to get into having to shoot this thing and die and tell everybody else we exist. So I would like to burn some.
How much?
Intellect. Well, let's say 1.
Okay. Mark down your burning it.
Well, it doesn't fucking matter. That's a 1.
Have a small aneurysm.
GM incursion time.
Damn it.
Wait, is this the first one that you've rolled?
No,
Warriors?
No, I've rolled many ones.
Okay.
If you remember previously, in fact, in this very fucking game, I rolled an absurd string of 1s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Wes, you actually
That was
see.
the way they go.
What is it
You
with
see
the
what
string?
you see what happens. They don't. You see the 2 battle chrysalids rise out of the ground behind them.
Oh, no.
You guys don't, because they had a trapdoor mechanism built into the ground.
Of course.
This is literally only happening because whenever you guys roll a 1, I had a complication to the scene.
No, I'm not complaining.
It's not. The first you hear of it is when their weapons cock as like their auto spike lances drop ammo from the drums into the barrels, and you just hear a meaty chunk.
It's like an elephant cracked its knuckles.
Yeah.
I'm imagining I get a premonition of that, and then I wake up to the sound.
No. It's even as you're as you're about to premonition.
Just for comic effect.
Yeah.
I have to live through that nightmare twice.
And Wes, they do not see you though.
I stay hidden.
Okay.
Look what you've done.
Well, I mean, in game, I didn't do anything. We surrender.
Did you pull the ED-209? Drop your weapons. You have 15 seconds to comply.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm picturing.
Except it's kind of me.
Drop your weapons. You have 15 seconds to comply.
Hey man, the things that you own end up owning you. Drop it.
Shane, Cam, you guys dropping your guns?
Yeah.
You will come with us.
Cool.
And they don't go back down the way they came. If you actually, you could see it, Wes. Literally, it's literally just trapdoor canisters almost.
Oh, like they were planted there.
Yeah. And they walk you towards the facility. The closer that you get to the door, you realize that they don't look as much like the battle they don't look like the battle chrysalid designs that you saw. They don't look like the battle chrysalid you saw on the street either. In fact, they look almost a little bit smaller than that. Like they may actually not be these full humans that turn into machine chrysalids. They may just be machines.
Yeah. Either way.
Damn, they've got damn big guns attached for arms.
Yeah, and, they're 15 feet away.
Actually, I have a picture of one of them. I just got to remember where it is. The world's numberless and strange.
As they're walking us in, I've got a terrible plan.
Well, it's the only plan we've got, probably.
Oh, I'm sorry. They look like that. The spike thrower is actually in their chest.
Oh, wow.
Even more terrifying.
Yeah,
Is this entire freaking world designed by Geiger?
Yeah, there's a very big Geiger.
it's a nightmare world, man. Like, Rook is a weird... What did you say it was made of, Shane? Is nightmares and pain or something like that?
Nightmares and Nope.
Yeah.
Nightmares and nope.
I also refer to it as Fear and Loathing in Blade Runner.
Yeah, man. So yeah. I gotta tell
He's actually writing down Nightmares and Nope.
That's got to be
That's the title of this series of episodes. The Strange Nightmares and Nope.
Sorry.
Well, why are you trying to look at my GM
I'm not
notes?
trying to look at your GM notes. I'm trying to find our
20.
20-sided die. Yeah.
Oh, it's right there.
I hate it.
I have a feeling we're going to need that.
I hate it.
Yeah.
The doctor
What?
says my nose would stop bleeding if I get my finger out of there.
What do you do, Wes?
I scoop up their weapons and hide it in my...
With what?
You don't. Remember, you don't have a store. We established you don't have an internal storage chamber.
Is he flat enough on top that he could just kind of scoop it?
Yeah, can you
Not really, no.
Okay.
Man, if you'd known this was happening, you could have wandered that Meroid in, but nope, not anymore.
No, I know, right? Like,
There's no way that's gonna work twice.
yeah, no, like I spent like half my intellect
Yeah.
to get that done.
Do you want to do a one action refresh?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Roll a d6.
One.
Gain 1 intellect back.
Well, but better than nothing.
Yeah, true.
But while you're watching the Walked In, you could do your 10-minute refresh as well if you really wanted to.
No, I'm not going to do that right now.
Okay,
All right. I'm going to start sneaking into the facility. And
give me a roll.
Look for something. Anything. Oh, that's a 1.
Even worse things.
I'm going to hold that GM intervention for the moment.
Oh shit!
I get to use it later in the scene.
I know. Oh boy.
Well, you're having trouble finding a way to sneak in,
Okay.
but if you look around, you may eventually find one. But they're slowly being led they're being led further into the building.
Okay.
And what you guys, the three of you, realize as you're being walked in, this is in fact a factory.
Yeah.
There are none of the prototype battle chrysalids you were told about around here. There are giant vats that lead into weird organic machines, and what they're spitting out is more of the things that are leading you in. And they're just arrayed on the floor, and it's a slow process. Like they're not just being pumped out, but like as you watch, pieces are pulled out of vats by these tendrils, and then put together and put through a machine.
Yeah.
And then the thing slowly walks. And there are about 20 of them in formation, just in a brick on the floor.
Oh.
And these two that have you start leading the three of you through the factory.
I'm too young to have dodged the draft, but I know an army when I see one.
Yeah, this is getting pretty serious. This is exactly the kind of thing that you know who would want.
Yeah. Although it does seem a little
Cam, give me a roll.
forward, you know.
Not a 1. Oh, 7.
It's like a one
You hear something. You do hear as these two are talking, and you're kind of just being silent, and Wes is activating Siri.
Sorry, I'm trying to close an app with my phone off. I didn't realize it was on.
Okay, it's fine. You hear a couple people talking, and you spy just out of the corner of your eye a couple of Rukian men, all heavily armed. They're wearing organic-looking combat armor.
Okay.
And they're talking with each other, and they don't seem happy. You know, this is taking too long. If we wait too... This is taking too long. Why are we helping an Earther? This is... how far we have fallen. If we use this factory for too long, the Myriad are going to find us. And by that point, you've walked past.
Cool. Anyway, I can secretly shoot out nanomachines.
Give me a roll.
Alright.
Do you want to spend any effort?
Probably should, yeah.
You want to spend the 1 intellect. And then how much your nanomachines cost?
1 intellect point.
Okay, so you're going to spend all day 2 intellect points.
2. Okay. Boop, boop.
Give me a roll.
13.
13? Sure, you're able to spew off a small cloud just behind you as you as you walk, and some of them just kind of land on the floor. And the gist of what you get is that these guys appear to actually be with the Karum, with this dissident Rukian faction that are looking to cut themselves off from Earth, but they're not working alone. Getting this factory and getting the resources to get it running again didn't come from the Karum. It came from this backer, this Earther backer of theirs.
Okay. Says my tier 2, I can scan an object or being you've sprayed with nanites to learn pertinent facts about them.
So that would be, you've basically sprayed this factory, really.
Yeah, that's what I want to know more about the factory.
Okay, the factory is... it's producing at only about 1/4 capacity right now. It definitely was damaged. It was old when the scar happened. So this is something that the operation to get it running again is relatively recent. This is the 20 soldiers that are out on the floor right now, plus the ones leading you, are the result of a week or two of work.
Okay.
So it's not producing them super, super fast. That's what you're going to get for right now.
Okay.
Wes, give me another roll. Let's see if you can find a way to sneak in.
11.
Sure, you find a vent.
Go to the vent.
You go through the vent. You are going through the vent right now. You can't really hear much, but you eventually pop out. The vent, it's venting over the factory floor. So you can see these two guys with the whatever the hell they are, leading them along.
Okay, I try and follow along with the vents the best I can.
Okay. You'll be able to roughly observe the scene and, if necessary, burst in through the ceiling if you'd
And
like
do
to.
what? Swing my ladle at them.
You never know.
Your flashlight.
I was going to say, this factory looks like technology to me.
You two are led up onto like an overseer's platform. It's an enclosed area. And it's an office. The office has obviously seen better days.
Yeah.
But it's been cleared out. Someone has moved a desk in.
Like an earth desk.
Well, no, like a folding
okay.
table turned into a desk. And there's a man sitting behind it. He is very obviously an Earthman. He is dressed in a 19th century black suit.
Oh, boy.
He has a widow. His hair is in a widow's peak. It's slicked back. He looks very white, very English. He's drinking a cup of tea. And he is having a conversation with 3 men in black body armor with what are the Rukian equivalent of assault rifles. And one of them is pointing at him and actually shouting as these things move you into the room. You said, Arthur, that this factory would be at full efficiency by now. It is supposed to be producing 20 Venom soldiers per day, not 20 over 2 weeks. This is insufficient. We cannot gain the upper hand within the war of factions with this little army that you are building us. This is little more than a squad. The Myriad would crush them in moments. And the man looks at him. Mr. Elzen, when we began our business arrangement, I told you that I would bring this factory to proper, efficient functioning if I were to receive 1/3 of the Venom soldiers it produced. I gain nothing from its inefficiency. However, your intelligence drastically downplayed the level of dilapidation present in it. At the moment, your squad is small, but if you learn patience, Mr. Elzen, as I have learned patience over the centuries, you will benefit greatly. And Elzen just slams his hand on the table, jerks his finger, and they leave. And they stop as you get marched in. Who are these people? I believe these would be our visitors from Earth. Mr. Elzen, you can go. I will be in contact with you once production is moved up to proper levels. Gentlemen. Elzen and his people leave. They shoot you like dirty-ass glances. These guys are all heavily modified in what are obviously combat mods. Underneath whatever levels of cloth that aren't armor, you can see that there's heavy plating and musculature added to them. Their eyes have expanded pupils for extra low light vision.
Yeah.
Their teeth there are multiple layers of sharp teeth. All that kind of crazy ass shit.
Yeah.
Their ears have been enhanced to get better, so they can do echolocation and nuts. And I hope you'll apologize if I remain sitting, but I really don't feel like standing, and there are no other chairs in the room. However, could I interest you in some tea? I had it brought from London. Real London, not the fake one that I escaped from.
Is the tea better?
The tea is always better when it's real.
Good to know.
I imagine you've discovered that about a great many things, Mr. Moriarty.
Derek, question. Now, how close do you rule I have to be to interact with technology?
You're touching it, more or less.
Okay.
Unless it's specifically wireless.
Is your nanoprobe wireless?
No, you can't access his nanos.
It's a private network.
I was hoping that I could use it to communicate through his nanos to communicate with him.
Not really. His nano machines are hardwired for only functioning for him.
Okay, that's cool.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
Detective McCree, you've interrupted before I can formally introduce myself, but I'm going to do it anyway. I hope you will accept the level of drama I am unfortunately written that way.
Of course.
I am Professor James Moriarty. I understand you've been looking for me.
Yeah. I'm sure you're familiar with us.
I am Dr. Ignatz. Mr. Williams. I see that Mr. Cage isn't with you. I'm given to understand from my intelligence that his translation was rather extreme.
It was a bit of a surprise to all of us. I think we all fared quite a bit better than he did.
Indeed.
Here we are.
Wes, by this point you're actually in the ducting over the room. Moriarty picks up a cane that's leaning next to him, points it at the roof.
Oh, God.
There's a flash of light. Wes, make me a roll.
18.
Ooh.
Nope.
Oh,
You take 4 points of damage as there is a blast of very, very visceral energy that goes up and smacks you, and you go tumbling out of the venting into the room. Welcome to your GM intrusion.
Very nice.
Damn.
Fair.
Now, does he have tea he's drinking himself?
Yes. And he has several cups on the table. He's obviously been waiting for you.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to take some.
You still have that.
I know,
slug
don't worry.
Okay.
I just don't know how we're going to get it in.
So, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that you were either approached by the Myriad or the Quiet Cabal about the activities of these Kurum operatives. I wonder what it is that they told you exactly. Were you looking for stolen parts? Were you investigating some apparently failed mission of their own covert exploits?
To be perfectly honest, I'm far more interested in you. I must admit that...
Humor me, please. A mason cannot build a wall without mortar to hold the bricks in, and information is that mortar. So please, just humor me.
You guys are seeing a look on Richter's face that neither of you can ever recall seeing before. He actually looks... It's kind of like meeting one of his heroes, almost. Because, like I said, he's read Sherlock Holmes. This is what inspired him to be a detective, and now he's meeting the man who tested Sherlock Holmes in every conceivable way. So in a way, he's meeting kind of his hero, and also, in his own mind, something of his nemesis. So, he may not be equipped to deal with Moriarty, but he's certainly honored for the attempt.
Yeah.
Please, do enlighten me. I am curious.
Well, I suppose, all things considered, it was just a matter of timing. The Cabal approached us first.
What were
It
they?
could have just as easily been the Myriad.
Well, this is true, and what did the Quiet Cabal hope to gain from you?
It was a matter of recovery. Could you pass the sugar?
They were looking for you to recover something that was not lost in the first place.
Yeah, covert ops that probably didn't exist.
Yes, I'm afraid you are somewhat of the sacrificial lambs.
Well,
This is not surprising. We've learned very quickly that trust is a very precious commodity in Rook.
Rather non-existent, I find. There is no honor among thieves, and all Rookians are by their very nature thieves. Do you know how Rook actually came to be here? It's actually a fascinating story. I've quite enjoyed looking at their history. Rook is actually, in its own way, a spaceship. Sent out as the last elements of a dying world that fell into the orbit of Earth. The Dark Matter Network is rather amazing that way. I've quite enjoyed traveling it after my escape from my own little world. Do you know what the most aggravating thing about my native recursion is?
That you found out that it was written by another person, and therefore your entire life and all your exploits were nothing more than a bunch of lies.
Not true. Within my perspective, and within the perspective of that recursion, they were absolute truth. To say that I was written by Doyle is perhaps an understatement, but also stressing the point a bit too far. 221B Baker Street, as the estate refers to it, is one of many Holmesian recursions resulting in the simple fact that humans like the great detective, because he has almost 150 years of time to percolate within them. Whereas other recursions are much more recent. Dunn, for instance, is only 10 years old. And yet it is larger, somehow more powerful.
We've heard tales of our Dunn.
Oh, it's an interesting place, but it's in its own way annoying. But, no, the true annoyance is that, and perhaps the true irony, is that 221B Baker Street and all the Holmesian recursions are contingent upon one single element of reality. What do you think that is?
Well, if they're all contingent on being, if they're all related, it'd be Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
No. It is the existence of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes, interestingly, no variant thereof, of him, has ever awakened, has ever had the spark. Because he is a contingent part of his own reality. Holmesian recursions cannot exist without Holmes.
But Holmesian, that implies that Holmesian recursions can exist without you, then.
Yes, it does. This is very true. But you'd also know what's interesting about 150 years of literature. Do you know how many narratives work in Holmes, and thus how many narratives must then attempt to work in their own Moriarty?
A pretty vast number.
How many times has it been adapted, and how many recursions have spun off from those fictions? How many Moriartys do you think there are in the Dark Energy Network, whirling about the Earth and the strange?
You're not interested in this army. You're interested in an army of yourself.
Yes, I like to refer to it in my more whimsical moments as Moriarty. A little pun.
Ha! I get it.
Yes, I thought you would, Dr. Ignatz. Crime is merely a means to an end. Crime is a way to achieve power. It's a way to achieve money, which is then also a way to achieve power. And power is what defines us. The power that we have over others, the power that we have over ourselves, the power that we have over the world. But I am not content to be one man's fiction. I am interested in having power in every world. Imagine it. One continuous entity existent simultaneously in all recursions. One Moriarty for the entire Strange.
That's a real interesting idea, Doc.
Professor.
I was gonna elevate you, but that's alright.
Professor, I feel I must say this out of respect. There is far more to the Strange than even you may realize. These worlds that you speak of, they could very easily be destroyed by what you intend to do.
Yeah, that's
The
kind of where I
worlds
was
that you
going.
intend to escape, the worlds that you intend to overtake, are all threatened by your plans.
Are they threatened by them? Or are you threatened by them?
Well, I mean, I'm no physicist, man, but I know
I just
back
jumped.
home, a universal objective perspective is going to make a lot of problems with causality and the speed of light, man.
What the human race knows of the truth of the universe could, in the great physical scheme of things, fit on the head of a pin.
Even that's generous.
The Strange is ancient. It was the creation of beings from before the Big Bang. The rules that you learned in school go out the window. How do you think that feels to someone like myself as a mathematician?
I imagine that'd be mighty uncomfortable, but also heck of a potential.
Mr. Williams is being particularly silent. Do you have an opinion on the matter, Mr. Williams? Speak up, boy. Feel free to share with the class.
I think you're crazy.
Well, sanity and insanity within this web of worlds are quite relative. But in any case, we come to you and me in this room here. And my Venom soldiers, of course. Because, as I have said, power is often the ultimate goal. And having a little army at one's command is quite useful. Of course, now that you are here, the Myriad and the Quiet Cabal won't be far behind you, because they have, of course, been tracking your movements.
I assume it was in the Pang.
Well, one should never trust Strange Pang. They will arrive here, and they will get into a fight with the Kurum operatives. The operatives will likely be slaughtered in the outcome, and it doesn't really matter either way. If I am found to be involved, then I am found to be involved, but it
You
all...
had no intention of giving him any of these Venom soldiers. You were going to take him with you.
The thought had occurred to me, of course, passing into improper realities and recursions would wreak havoc on them, but there are always useful worlds where they can be stored.
So this is where the part where you tell us that now we know what you're up to, you're going to, of course, have to eliminate us.
No, I was going to eliminate you anyway.
Look, all I'm going to say is you really should just let us go. After all, you require a good foil. And with saying that, no, spin ideal, spend 3 intellect, import ideal onto a target NPC for 1 hour.
Roll.
Nice. Nice. Spend some stuff. Spend some fucking stuff.
Spend your stuff.
Yeah,
man.
I'm going to spend.
Holy crap!
I'm going to spend like
2 effort?
2 effort. Yeah,
So you're going to need to spend...
4 in total.
Well, 2 effort would be 6 points.
Yeah.
And then how much does the spin ideal cost? 3. So that would be 7 total. Minus your 2 edge, you're going to need to spend 5 intellect.
Okay.
Do you have 5 intellect?
I have 6 intellect.
Oh, you son of a bitch. This might actually work. You're going to need to roll for it, though.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
As Derek realizes he forgot to book...
Come on.
Did you roll a 1?
2.
Are you still lucky?
I could. I would spend another XP.
Yeah. Now seems like it's time to do it.
I mean,
I want
the
to
amount of
tell
XP
you
we
to
have
do it
isn't going to
so
matter if
bad.
Moriarty caps
I
us.
want to tell you to do it so bad.
You know what? I will do it because in my mind, making the GM think on his feet is worth more experience than
Absolutely.
Besides, it's for the entertainment of the listeners. And if you really want me to get more experience, subscribe to us on Patreon.
What, you think if they give us more money, I'm just going to give you more experience?
I mean, the man
This isn't how this works.
18.
18 on the reroll.
Finally.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go.
Frantically flipping through the book.
No, I'm trying to find Moriarty's stats because I'd actually failed to bookmark them. You just make it.
Oh.
Even you needed to spend effort on there to even have a chance.
I figured as much.
Oh, yeah.
He is a very high level opponent.
Yeah. He's the big bad.
You know what? You're right.
That was good.
Here is what let's do. Go into a translation trance right now and return to Earth.
All right. That feels like you want us to do a little more, though.
No, if you're going to attempt to catch me another day, then attempt to catch me another day.
That's awful sporting of you, Prof.
Well, go on.
I think it's time for us to go.
Yeah.
So you guys, you settle down. You start going into translation trance. As you start to translate, you hear Moriarty say, yes, one more thing. He takes his cane, and he points it at you. There's a flash of light. And when you wake up, you are flat on your backs. You are in a city covered in white fog. And you are in a... you're just lying in a burned out shell of a building in a city full of white fog.
He sent us
fog.
Sent us to 221 Baker Street.
You don't know.
Or maybe some
but
other...
you slowly crawl over to the window.
Yeah.
Do I have arms at least?
Yeah, you are back to your Earth...
Earth body.
you back to your Earth focus.
Yeah.
And you crawl over... And there is actually an angry mob beating at the door bearing torches and pitchforks.
Oh.
You'll never get away with this, you devils!
Oh,
You-
no.
You've trespassed against the laws of God and nature for the last time!
But it's alive!
And you all look down at what you're wearing.
Of course he did.
You are all dressed in like Victorian era, like European clothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking directly at your shirt right now. For the record,
and you
Derek
turn
and I
around-
are both wearing Assassin's Creed shirts. I'm wearing one with the Jackdaw symbol from Black Flag, and he's wearing one with the Fry Twins from
Well,
Syndicate.
and at first you thought the building was bombed out. You realize that the broken window you're looking through, somebody threw a bomb into this room. There are bodies. Shane, you've got a smoking gun in your hand.
Oh, great.
It's an old-fashioned 6-shooter. Like, not even like a Peacemaker. We're talking like older, like a...
Like paper cartridge.
No, like a Navy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a dead body with a hole in it. You guys don't recall what the hell's going on, but you're pretty sure... It's coming to you, you're like, oh my god, what... we might have lost some time here, guys.
Oh, boy.
And as you...
When are we going to learn not to let our guard down against the main villain of the game?
And I think we're going to leave it there as the mob starts to break down the door.
We did this with the Joker. We did this with freaking Moriarty.
I tried. Okay, I freaking tried.
And it was a great
And
time.
we're going to cut there.
Hey, look, there's a gold triangle with one eye saying that's funny how dumb we are.
Well, for another cliffhanger of The Strange, I'm Derek the Bard from Chase the Muse, and I'm joined with...
Will Mitchell.
Wes Gunn.
Shane Fitzgerald.
Cameron Dunn.
How are them translation strange boys gonna get out of this time?
Oh, God.
Stick around and find out. Yuck! I don't know. That was a really bad attempt at doing.
The balladeer from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, exactly.
You all come back now, you hear?
Them strange boys jumped to gorge with no wheels on their car.
Wailing
Now we
chants
have to
of
be in a
Sasquatch.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Terrible Warriors has new episodes every Thursday and every Tuesday. And every Thursday this month are new episodes of The Strange. But on Tuesday, return to us for the next chapter in Mutants in Orbit. It's our latest story in our After the Bomb world. I like to return to it once a year, just to see how things are going. Seems this time the mutants have got themselves into a real problem. Strapped to the back of a rocket launched into space. Whoa, boy. Yes, I know, they're not in space yet, but they're getting there. They're obviously they're going. It's called Mutants in Orbit. The other campaign on Tuesdays is Ravenloft, Dead by Dawn's Light. We've got one more episode left in that, and... well, remember how I said they'd be dead if they don't get out of the castle by morning? They got minutes to spare, and I know what you're thinking. Well, Justin's just setting it up because he's the announcer now and he needs to hype it going. And no, I played that game. And there was a real moment in the very beginning of that episode where we all looking at each other going, are we actually going to die in the first 5 minutes? And there was a serious moment of dread. Today's Terrible Warriors were Derek Burrow, Will Mitchell, Shane Fitzgerald, Wes Gunn, and Cameron Dunn. And for all updates on future campaigns, you can follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors. You can check out our website where we have a schedule posted for your viewing pleasure at terriblewarriors.com. As well, if you click over onto Adventures, you'll see the complete archive of every game we have ever played in the 4.5 years of running this show. All of our games and all of our episodes will be available forever, for free, for you. And for that, thank you for listening, for supporting, for sharing and reviewing. Thank you for playing games. Thank you for telling stories. And thank you for being a terrible warrior.